DreAllDay.com.
Dre Ball on DreAllDay.com. So I just came from. You hear that beeping? I ain't got my seatbelt on. I'm not putting it on. I'm almost home. Anyway, I just came from Publix, which is those of y'all not from the southeastern part of the country. Publix is a grocery store, a pretty popular grocery store down here. I ordered some sandwiches online for pickup, and excuse me. As can happen in the afternoon, they were late. Having the sandwiches ready for me. And I go over to the counter where the person is, this woman is rushing to make these sandwiches. And this is an older black woman. And I'm telling you that because I want to give you a visual of what I'm dealing with here. So as when I get up to the counter, I can see all the pickup order slips. There's like 8 of them in a line, and I'm looking because I'm trying to see mine. Mine is like right in the middle. So it's like 3 in front of me, like 3 or 4 behind me. So I'm like right in the middle. So all these other orders got to get made before mine get ordered. And my pickup was at like 12:50. So I got there like 12:45. So I knew my order wasn't gonna be on time. So I go in the store, I buy a couple things. I come back to the counter, and there's a couple guys at the counter, then there's some girls standing at the counter. They're all waiting to get their order made, and we all can see the woman making the orders. There's one woman working on like 8 orders. And she got like 10 now because more of them came in, right? So she's talking to a couple of the guys. They're like business guys, you know, with the business casual clothing, but not the suit jacket, no suit, no jacket, no tie. So I know these guys, they probably dress like that every day. Business guys, because I worked with these guys before. So she's talking to them, and you know, they're being all deferential to this woman. She's talking like she runs the place, and she's working at the counter making the orders. So anyway, she makes a couple orders for a couple guys. They go. Then there's a girl standing there. The girl catches her eye. She's like, "What's your name?" And the girl says her name. And the woman, what she does is she shuffles through all the orders, and she finds that woman's order, and she starts making her order just because the woman's standing there. I'm looking at that like, wait, what the hell is going on here? Is she supposed to just make the orders in the order in which they come in? The answer is yes, of course that's what she's supposed to do, but that's not what she's doing. She's prioritizing the order of the person who is standing in front of her just because they happen to be standing in front of her, which is not necessarily a crime. It's not necessarily a bad thing, that she's doing that. But at the same time, I'm like, whoa, that's out of bounds. You're not supposed to do that, because the reason that because I placed this order online, right? The reason that they have the online ordering is so that you don't have to wait when you get there. So I want to get there at 12:52. My order is ready. I grab it. I walk out. I should be in the store all of 1 minute because I already paid for the food. All I got to do is grab the sandwiches and walk right back out. That's what's supposed to happen. But this woman is prioritizing whoever happens to be standing there. So she makes this order for this one woman. Then there's another woman standing there. She starts talking to that woman. I'm hanging kind of in the back. Like, she could see me, but I'm like hanging back. I'm not leaning up at the counter like these women are. Like how you would be at the bar. You know, you go to the bar and you like lean up on the bar and you're trying to get the bartender to make eye contact so you can order something. That's how it is at a bar. This ain't a bar. I already ordered. So it ain't like I shouldn't have to talk to this woman at all. So she starts talking to the other chick, making this other chick's order. So as she's talking to her, then she sees me and she says, "You've been standing back there a long time. What's your name? You know, I might not have gotten to your order." I said, "Well, my name is Dre." And then I followed that up by saying, don't you make them in the order in which they were received, which is what she's supposed to do. I just asked the question, and she didn't hear me. She said, "What?" And I said, "Don't you make the orders in the order in which they were received?" And she got like this sly smile on her face, like she was offended by the fact that I said that to her, because she knew that I was right. She just looked at me with this sly smile on her face. Then she didn't say nothing. Then she looked at me again with the same smile, and then she kind of like rolled her eyes, and she didn't say anything. She didn't say a word to me, and she kept working on this other woman's order because she wasn't finished with it. So now I'm just standing there, and she keeps working on this other woman's order. So now at this point, I got a decision to make. Now, what do I do? Do I stand here and let this woman get to me? Because when she gets done with this other woman, now I'm the only person still standing there. So I'm assuming she would make my sandwich by that point. Or is she going to try to be rude even further? Listen, again, this ain't a racial thing, but I've dealt with these type of women before. There's this older woman, female, older. She's probably, how old is this woman? She's probably 50, 60 years old, maybe like my mom's age. She's probably been working at places like Publix her entire working career. I'm not saying this to diss. I'm saying this, I'm profiling because I've seen this type before. And these women tend to, and again, I see it at Publix all the time. I don't know how, but Publix always has all these older black women working at the prepared foods counter. I don't know why. This is what Publix seems to do, at least down here in Miami. Every Publix I go to is like this. And these women tend to get so proprietary. You see these women at Whole Foods too, but it's not prepared food. They'll be in just different departments. They tend to get this proprietary attitude, like they run the store. Like, bitch, you work here. And I'm not saying she's a bitch. I'm just using it as a figure of speech. But they tend to get this attitude, like they're doing me a favor by making my food. Like, yo, I already ordered this, I already paid for it. You just are working here making the food, but they have this attitude. And I'm thinking to myself, all right, at this point, what do I do? Because I don't know. Let me put it this way. All right, many of you see me. Some of you have been following me for a while, and you know my work from back in the days when I was playing ball and all this, way before this shit, before the suits and all that. Like, I come from the same places that these people come from, and I think sometimes people, when I'm out, you know, especially in a situation like this, people see me with the suit on and being all polite and nice, and I think sometimes people size me up and they think I'm somebody that I'm not. And I'm thinking to myself, as she goes and tends to the rest of this woman's order, I'm thinking to myself, okay, do I want to get ignorant with this woman? Because I very well can. I have the capability of doing it, no problem whatsoever. Or should I handle this in a more polite way? I got 3 options. I get ignorant with this woman and cuss her the fuck out, which I am capable of doing. Or B, I could just stand there and say nothing else to her, let her make the sandwich, get my food and go. Or C, I could go and speak to a manager. So I decided I'm not just gonna stand here. After I just responded to her, she didn't say nothing, and clearly she didn't like the fact that I called her out on not doing her damn job. So let me go speak to a manager. So I go to the front desk, ask for a manager. Woman comes up. Woman's very nice. We have a polite exchange. I told her exactly what happened, same thing I just told you. And she's like, I'm gonna go make the sandwich for you. So I'm like, all right. By this point, it's 1 o'clock. Now, mind you, my order was for $12.50. The whole point of me ordering ahead of time was so that I didn't have to wait. So now it's 1 o'clock. I'm already 10 minutes behind. Woman goes away. She says, I'm gonna tell the store, because this woman was like the department manager, but she said, I'm gonna tell the store manager and let you talk to him as well. So I'm like, all right, cool. So I'm waiting there. I'm at like the customer service counter at the front. And she was like, yeah, you just wait here. I'll go make your sandwiches. I'll make them myself and bring them to you. I was like, all right, cool. She leaves. I'm waiting. 10 minutes go by before she comes back. It took her 10 minutes to make the sandwiches. Don't know what the hell she was doing, but it took her 10 minutes. She said, I'm gonna speak to the woman at the back, the woman who I told y'all about. She said, I'm going to speak to her because I guess she's her boss. I don't think she did shit. Who knows? Because you know when the manager's like, I'm going to speak to the employee who was kind of rude or nasty. Sometimes you can tell when the manager really means it and they're going to do something, and you can tell when the manager don't really mean it and they're kind of just saying it to appease you, so you shut the hell up and go away. I think that's what she was doing. That's just my theory. I could be completely wrong, but that's what I think she was doing. She was just like, all right, let me just be nice to this guy so he goes away and don't cause a problem. So anyway, she goes away to make the sandwiches. 10 minutes go by. She finally comes out with the sandwiches at the 10 minutes. I don't know why it took her 10 minutes to make those sandwiches. I'm watching the rude woman make sandwiches, and it ain't taking her 10 minutes. It's taking her maybe 3 minutes a sandwich. Anyway, 10 minutes, she comes back with the sandwich. So now I'm 20 minutes back. It's 1:10 by the time the woman finally shows up with the damn sandwich. Mind you, I tweeted at Publix and was telling them about this while this happened. They responded and said, what store did this happen at? I took a screenshot of my order, and I circled the order, I circled the time that was supposed to be picked up and the location and the time that it was when I took the screenshot. And I'm like, yo, I'm still in the store and I'm still waiting for these sandwiches. So Publix, I haven't checked my Twitter yet, or X. So we'll see what Publix says. And then finally the manager comes back, the department manager comes back with the sandwiches. She's like, Dre, your sandwiches, give me the sandwiches. She's like, I'm gonna refund your order. I'm sorry for the inconvenience and all that, which is a nice courtesy to refund me my order price, whatever I paid for the food. And then she says, the store manager, he's in a meeting, so he can't meet with you right now, but I'm gonna make sure he gets the message about everything that happened and all that. I'm telling you all that to tell you this. When you are, first of all, when you're running a business, and I don't blame the manager at Publix for this, because a manager is still an employee. No disrespect to any of you who's a manager at your job, but a manager is an employee. You're just an employee with a higher rank than other employees. You don't make the rules. You just enforce them. That's what a manager's job is. They tell you the rule. The company tells you the rules. You just have some authority over these people to enforce the rules. That's pretty much it. But you don't own the business, and neither does the store manager. They're just a higher level than the other manager. When you run a business, any of you runs a business, you need to make sure you have clear standard operating procedures, and make sure that your staff, whoever's working with you or for you, make sure that they don't interface with customers in a way like something like this can happen. Because what happens is, that customer, most customers are not like me. When people have an exchange and they don't really like the way things are going, they think somebody's rude or they're just dissatisfied, most people don't say anything. I went to the manager and said, let me speak to the manager, and I calmly and politely had a great exchange with the manager, told her what the deal was, got my money back and all that, finally got my sandwiches, and now I'm making this video. Most people don't say nothing. They don't make a YouTube video, they don't tweet, they don't say anything, they don't ask to speak to the manager. They just finally get their stuff, or they don't, they just leave, and they never come back. And then they tell their friends don't go there. Any of you knows anything about customer service knows this. You've heard this before. They just tell their friends don't go there, they never go there, and now you've lost the lifetime value of that customer. You know how much money I spent at Publix over the course of my life? I'm less likely to go back to Publix, period, especially this particular Publix, after this experience. Because I've been there a few times, and every time I order food, I got to deal with some snarkiness from these, again, it's these black women. Again, this is not a black women attack, but there are black women who work back there. That's who it is. It's a bunch of black women working back there, and they're rude, and they talk to you as if they're doing you a favor by doing their job and making your sandwich. They act like they tell you what to do instead of, and it ain't about me telling them what to do. It's like, I placed the order, just make the order. That's it. That's all that should be happening. But this kind of stuff happens because there's no oversight. So there's no one, the head of the department, that woman, I mean, she was very nice and very polite. I don't think she's the type of person that kind of put her foot in anybody's ass. I don't think she's that type. She didn't seem like that type to me. I don't know who the store manager is. I have no idea what they're going to do, if anything, probably nothing. And this is really a Publix issue. This is not a manager issue, because again, a manager is an employee with a higher rank than the regular employee. That's all a manager is. And again, no disrespect to anybody who's a manager. I've been a manager before, and I was an employee, like I just said. So I don't really make the rules, but I do have the power to enforce the rules when I know what they are, if I'm willing to do so. And I tell you, last thing I'll tell you, my first job ever out of college, first job out of college was at Foot Locker, and the head manager was this guy named Keith. And Keith was kind of like a closet racist white dude. He was closeted racist. He would say stuff that was like undertone racist. He never said anything direct, but it was undertone. But anyway, that's not even the point. Keith was willing to be a dick to the staff. And he even said that to me. He said, Dre, if you want to be respected and you want to have the store running the right way, because he was training me to be a manager, he said, you got to be a dick. You cannot try to be friends with your staff. If you try to be friends with your staff, they're going to walk all over you. He was 100% correct. Now, it doesn't mean you need to be an asshole. It doesn't mean you can't be polite. It doesn't mean you can't laugh and joke with your staff. However, they need to know that if they don't do what they're supposed to do, then something's going to happen. Because if they don't think anything's going to happen, they do whatever the hell they want. And then you end up, that kind of laissez-faire attitude ends up passed on to the customers, and that ends up costing you money. And you don't even realize that it's happening. But again, if you're a manager, you don't care, because you get paid either way. See, this is the message is for those of you who are bosses who own businesses, because you don't get paid either way if you start losing customers. If you're a manager, you still got your check, as long as the business still exists and they don't cut your job. But if you're a boss, and you're an owner, rather, not a boss, but an owner, then your pockets are affected when you start losing customers. And that's a different ballgame. So this manager at Publix, again, she doesn't need to care about dealing with me. It doesn't hurt her to give me a refund. It ain't her money. She's still getting her same paycheck whether she gives me a refund or not. What difference does it make? Nothing to her. So all you who are business owners, pay attention, because this kind of stuff is happening right under your nose. And if you're not watching, guarantee you this is happening. If you have anybody who works for you who is interfacing with your customers and your clients and your prospects, you better be watching them. You got to watch them, because if you're not watching them, this kind of stuff happens. You don't even know. Money's walking right out of your business, and you don't know nothing about it, and they ain't gonna tell you. They're the ones doing it. They're not gonna tell on themselves. So pay attention, folks. All that said, work on your game university. You own a business, and you want to run it with the proper system, so you have checks and balances in place, so you don't have your customers, not your customers, but your employees, and they're screwing up the money. WorkOnYourGameUniversity.com. I'll help you with this. We'll put the systems in place, put the communication skills in place, so that people can get the point across the right way, and they are receiving the message the right way, and you can get your point across the right way to your staff, so that they understand what you mean without them feeling like you're a complete dick. And even if they do feel like you're a dick, so what? You can replace them with somebody else, because you'll know how to do that as well. Go to WorkOnYourGameUniversity.com. I'll help you out with that. Work on your game. Dre, all